SpeedNet sold. BTL's board of directors votes to acquire their competition and create a national telecoms monopoly. Tonight, there is pushback. Jules Vasquez will be on set to explain the implications. And for the first time in history, the independent senators walked out of the House meeting in protest of the acquisition. We'll have all except one. We'll take you to what Louis Wade has got to say. Also tonight, a Sandhill family is devastated after their missing loved one was found dead at sea. We'll talk to the family of Sam Chi. Plus, 2 police officers found guilty of manslaughter for causing the death of a detainee. Also, a fish kill in the Belize River, but what's causing the fish to gasp for air? We'll take you there. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Life sounds better with JBL. Whether you're relaxing, working out, or getting the party started, there is a JBL speaker or headphone made just for you. Enjoy powerful JBL pure bass sound with the new JBL Tune 530 VT and Tune 730 VT. Wireless headphones delivering all-day comfort and long-lasting battery life. Take your music anywhere with the compact, mighty JBL Go 5. Built to keep the beats going. Ready to party? Turn every gathering into an unforgettable experience with the JBL Party Box on the go. Essentials too, or go even bigger with the all-new JBL Party Box 330, packed with booming sound, dynamic light show, and endless entertainment. Get yours today at Cellular World and get a 1-year warranty from the authorized JBL distributor.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sherry Kelso,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
BTB Accommodations License Renewal 2026 opens August 1st through the online portal. BTB is also having its license renewal clinic countrywide, starting August 10th in Corozal, then in Orange Walk, Key Carker, San Pedro, Hopkins, Placencia, Toledo, Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. Remember, to successfully process your renewal at the clinic, managers with portal access must bring updated electronic copies of renewal requirements. Licenses will be ready the same day at the clinic. Accommodations operating beyond October 31st, 2026 without successfully completing the renewal process will receive a violation ticket. Operating without a valid license commits an offense. For more information, please contact our compliance officers at 227-2420 extension pound 247. Email hotels@belizetourismboard.org or WhatsApp us at 635-3688. Renew your BTB accommodation license through the online portal starting August 1st, 2026, or look out for the renewal clinic near you.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Hey yo, Bellies, the encore is overdue. So I, Double M Masha Montano, with my full band and dancers, will be returning to the Jewel on September 20th for the Bellies Soca and Culture Festival. That's why they call this show the greatest. After 10 years, Bellies, I'm back. So get your tickets now. Hey, ha!
I'm a licensed electrician for 15 years. Safety is always an electrician #1 priority. I shop at Benny's. Benny's give me high quality, durable material. Cheaper doesn't mean safety. Cheaper means danger. When I think about safety, I think about Benny's. Remember, at Benny's, quality is saving.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Quality and savings. See you at the store.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
BTL Board of Directors has agreed to acquire its competitor SpeedNet, bringing an end to a tumultuous chapter of political and corporate intrigue that started to unfold more than a year ago. The Board of Directors met this morning, and by 2 this afternoon a release was issued saying, quote, the board approved, with the support of senior management, the proposed purchase of 100% of the issued share capital of SpeedNet Communications Limited. The statement makes no mention of the Public Utilities Commission, which must approve any such acquisition that will effectively create a monopoly. It simply says the acquisition is subject to, quote, the satisfactory completion of continued due diligence and the negotiation of appropriate representations, warranties, and other contractual protections for BTL as the buyer. Once negotiations advance to the definitive agreement stage, the share purchase agreement will be submitted to the board for separate review and final approval before execution. Sticking to the script that's been touted throughout, the release says, quote, the investment is to be repaid from SpeedNet's own operating cash flows. Based on current projections, the investment of $80 million has an estimated payback period of approximately 4.2 years. And while BTL is spinning the acquisition as a boon, the Chamber of Commerce, the unions, and the opposition differ greatly. After news of the vote trickled out around 11:30 a.m., the NTUCB and the UDP mobilized immediately with an impromptu protest outside BTL's corporate headquarters on St. Thomas Street. Courtney Menzies was there and has this story.
We are paid for we bill right and no make we get violent, like we simple is open anything, let's go. Either like we are open it by force. That we are paid for this back. Let's go. I pay my bill 6155549. I pay my bill, man. You're so peaceful. You try to get no neck with. I want to create something, I know. You can try your luck, Papa. I want to try my luck. I like trying luck. So I can pay my light bill. I mean my phone bill. Stop. 59 Stop. Change, man. I bill, man. I need to pay my bill.
This was the scene this afternoon after the UDP calmly walked into the BTL compound to stand in front of the DJ Signature store. Word got out that BTL's board members had quietly voted in favor of the proposed acquisition of SpeedNet, prompting a spontaneous protest by the opposition party and the NTUCB. It wasn't a large crowd, but NTUCB president explained that it was important for them to register their discontent and disapproval.
We were not sure if the meeting would be held today, so we were in communication with persons to try to verify that. It was on this morning. We were informed that yes, the meeting would be held today. We understand some members have actually joined virtual. So again, I don't even know if they themselves were sure the meeting would be held today. But besides that, when we heard that it would be held today, we made a call out to our general counsel, to all the presidents. We know everybody is busy. NTUCB have presidents that have been working with their members, with projects, etc. So we made that call out still to join us today. If it was only me and Sister Lady and Brother Jermaine out here, it would be that. But the purpose that I mentioned before for us being here is to register NTUCB still not supporting the acquisition of Smart, simply because what we had demanded for when it comes to consultation, meaningful consultation with the public, not just a group of stakeholders and some PUP representatives, but with the public, did not happen. We also asked for another audit, an audit that could verify the audited financials of Smart. 1 year audit cannot support millions of dollars being purchased into a company. So we demanded that as well. Nothing like that has been completed as far as we know.
And the president of the Belize Communication Workers Union came out to make it clear they're not siding with BTL's board.
What changed today is that when we actually had a vote, it wasn't the membership only that voted. It was the entire general staff that voted. But of course, other information came out whereby it shows that the value of Smart doesn't match up with what was presented to us by saying $40 million when in capital, and it's only showing $15 million, right? So it's just that figures. I might be near there with the figures, but however, that's what it was showing, right? So this is where we continue to make a stand moving forward and to see how we could actually put a stop to this. We would like the Belizean people to come out and support this when we call on them, so that we could make a stop to this. It's only a certain people benefit from these type of acquisition, so we need to make sure that we stop it.
Do you consider that the way things transpired today was in secret?
Yeah, I believe it was in secret. As you know that the information that was blown up first when they had different board of directors there, information was given out on a regular basis, but now I guess it's a more tightened grip whereby that the information won't come out as it used to.
And up until that point, the votes were only rumored, shrouded in secrecy much like the meeting. But now we can confirm that 8 members supported, while 2 of them voted against the acquisition. And the leader of the opposition lamented that 8 people will decide the fate of Belize's telecommunications sector.
It is a travesty. It is tantamount, in my view, to treason. How could a government-led board not consider the reasonable requests that came from the people? We need an assessment. We need an independent evaluation. We need to know what the future of value of this company looks like. There are too many unanswered questions. And while 8 people, as I understand it, have voted in favor, and 2 have, so now 8 people will decide the fate of a utility company that has significant impact in terms of our national development. It's just like BL. I think that there is enough evidence before us in the public domain that suggests that this government continues to operate not in the best interest of this country. The allegations of corruption are not just allegations. We have evidence to prove that there's significant corruption in the government. We have asked, we have met with the board and we have asked for, because the board must soon come out, disclosure, a disclosure on the details. And they continue to deny the Belizean people answers that are important.
The demand for information is the loudest cry, but according to both WIT and Panton, it should have started with SSB's meeting on Friday.
That should have been done before this meeting today. Don't you think that should have been done? And I hope Belizeans realize that. That should have been done. They did what they were supposed to do, and they got who supported and who did not support. So that information should have been shared, whether it would have been Friday evening on the news or yesterday. That way we would have known, you know what, we need to go back to SSB. So some of us would be at SSB and some of us at BTL today. We support investments at SSB. That is how we avoid having to have an increase in our contributions. So we support investments, but prudent investments. We are not sure of this investment because we did not get the information we had asked for.
The SSB represents the contributors to the fund, the people who sit on the board ultimately. And they have a duty, and a fiduciary duty, an obligation to inform contributors to the fund what decisions they're making on their behalf, why they're making those decisions, and how those decisions will impact the fund as for future consideration. They fail to do that. It is indicative of the way this administration conducts its business. They make decisions and then inform the public later.
But tonight, we can tell you that it was in fact two SSB members that voted against the acquisition, Alan Pollard and Anissa Perdomo. However, both leaders say that this is just a start as they prepare to take further action. Time will tell if they can coalesce their forces. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
And while the opposition was making noise outside BTL's headquarters, something unprecedented was happening in the Senate chamber. For the first time that we have witnessed the independent senators, or a supermajority of them at least, walking out of the meeting. They did so in protest of the just announced decision to acquire BTL. They followed the lead of UDP Senator Patrick Faber, who led the charge after the Senate returned to a public session, that is, following what is called a meeting of the whole. He resigned to speak after the leader of government business, and here's how it went.
We have sat here, and to be honest with you, we're very, very uneasy that we are here doing the people's business, yes, but while we're doing the people's business, Madam President, the government is seeking to purchase Smart from its owners in a deal that the Belizean people, Madam President, the Belizean people have said they don't want. The government, Madam President, is ramming down the throats of the Belizean people as we speak, Madam President.
Senator.
Ramming down the throats of the Belizean people as we speak.
Senator Patrick
the Smart
Faber.
acquisition. We are against that acquisition, Madam
Senator
President.
Patrick
The
Faber.
Belizean people are
Senator
against it, Madam President, and we expect that we will be heard.
Senator
Madam
Patrick
President,
Faber,
we will
I
not
am
stand
standing.
here. We will not stand
Senator
here and
Patrick-
behave like it is business as usual in this honorable chamber.
I am suspending
we will
this-
not
I
we
am
will not
suspending
continue
this
to
Senate.
behave like it's
The
business.
Senate-
While we prostitute ourselves, Madam President, by taking on a project that we don't know is correct. The Belizean people don't want it. The Belizean people don't want it. I am speaking for myself and for thousands of other Belizeans who don't have a voice, who are running this down the throat. And we can't have that, Madam President. We have made our position known to Ms. Gideon, and we're hoping that you're genuine in terms of valuing what contributions we've made and that they can see their way into whatever amendments you put in the committee of the whole. But we will not continue to sit here and behave like it's business as usual.
The president declared the House meeting suspended. The microphones were cut and so was the feed, which went to Logo. They came back in a few minutes and like a magic trick, the opposition and the independent senators, except for religious sector Senator Louis Wade, were all gone. The independent senators issued a joint statement saying, quote, "We remain aligned with the positions adopted by the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, BCCI, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, NTUCB, and the opposition, that there has been no substantive information provided to address concerns raised of the legality, competition, and valuation independence in relation to this proposed acquisition. We maintain that any decision to take decisive steps to turn the telecommunications landscape into a monopoly is regressive and we believe is contrary to Section 42.4 of the Belize Telecommunications Act," end quote. In closing, they also refer again to a unified bloc, advertising to their power to block legislation that comes to the upper house for approval along with the opposition. And even though he signed the statement after the walkout, Louis Wade sat alone in the second row, the only independent senator not to join, as he rose to speak on the Caribbean Community, Free Movement and Contingent Rights Bill. He began his statement by explaining why he didn't join his colleagues.
Philosophically, I believe that leaders have a responsibility to speak on every matter as they arise. And I do intend at the proper time and in the proper circumstances to speak on the matter of the acquisition or the pending or the proposed or the voted on or the process. What is before us is, of course, the Caribbean Community Amendment Act, and we just came out of the information session. But even if unrecorded or struck from record, I stand to lose more than anyone in this chamber, whether present or absent, from what the government seeks to do in recreating a monopoly in communications. And so, at the proper time, what shall be done may even be more effective than walking out. But for now, the people's business must precede mine.
Joining me on set now to discuss what's now in the news, Director Jules Vasquez is here. Jules, welcome. What do you think of the decision?
I think it is both unwise and unlawful.
Okay.
I think it is unwise because I do not believe that SpeedNet has presented suitable, what any bank would ask for. What's your earnings? What's your profit and loss? What's your projection? What is the long-term prognosis? What's your liability? What matters are unresolved with the regulator maybe that could have a material effect on your finances? I do not believe that information was sufficiently provided. I am reliably informed that it was not. Michael Ashcroft met with this board in April, with Social Security Board, in April, because Social Security was a hold up, and he met virtually. He met with them in April, and he made it clear, you're not buying the asset, you're buying cash flow. You're buying cash flow. Don't look at the asset.
Right.
Don't look at the asset, look at the cash flow. And that's what this is being promoted as, strictly cash flow. But I want to stress, it is subsequently unlawful because our laws prohibit anything that limits competition. This is effectively creating a monopoly. The Minister of Public Utilities can call all he wishes to about all the internet providers out there. They do not present a major infrastructural equivalent of BTL or SpeedNet. They do not have the reach or the scale. Section 19.5 of the Telecommunication Act says specifically, any attempt to consummate an acquisition without the prior approval of the Public Utilities Commission is unlawful. Right? Also, it also says Section 42.4 of the Telecommunication Act, where BTL and Smart are the only full-service providers in Belize, that transaction would effectively eliminate competition in the market and result in a monopoly which our laws do not allow. Our laws expressly do everything to say that is not allowed.
Right.
Why is that? Why is that? Because consumers, we have agreed in the Caribbean and in Belize, consumers must have a choice. The country must have redundancy. We cannot create a monopoly because it goes against the interests of the public and the consumer if you create a monopoly. That's why the law is explicit. BTL's employee bulletin / press release makes no mention of PUC. Then even the study PUC. So, allow me to finish.
Right.
The Treaty of Chaguaramas, which binds us in the CARICOM sector, which binds us, that treaty makes it clear that we must have competition. We have signed on to that treaty. The state can be taken to court for defying the explicit statement of the treaty, which says that it prohibits agreement that restrict or distort competition, and it prevents the abuse of dominant positions in the market. So it is unlawful.
Which answers the question, because I was about to ask about the illegality of it, if you're foreseeing a legal battle.
I don't know where it's going. Let's look at it in the more immediate short term. Let's understand what's happening here. The finances, the Briceño family, we cannot ignore this. The Briceño family, which includes the Prime Minister as a family member, the shareholders, they say, are Jaime and Renan Briceño, fine. But it is a Briceño family interest. It is the Prime Minister's family. They stand to gain from this sale $18 million. The total sale, let's be clear, is $80 million. $62 million to the Ashcroft Alliance and $18 million to the Briceño family. This, in my mind, is a manifest conflict of interest since the Prime Minister appoints all of the members on the Public Utilities Commission, which is the regulator. The Prime Minister, I have said here before, I verily believe, has reached out to sympathetic board members in the past to persuade them to support the acquisition. Let us be very clear, this crept up on us because the last time you and I sat here in the room was in December and January, when we were the ones ringing the alarm, and we rang it so loud.
It was shelved for a bit.
It was shelved, and Cordell Hyde gave his very famous speech at the PUP National Party Council. He said, this is not the PUP, you have to consult with the people first. Well, BTL says in its recent letter to the NTUCB that it has done the consultations. I certainly do not know that they have done the consultations. I have not seen for myself any consultations. Perhaps I don't follow BTL closely, but I do not know that there have been that there have been consultations. So what is the consequence of this? The consequence of this is that we're already seeing it. This could have a crystallizing effect on the opposition against the government. The Briceño administration is not popular right now. They are widely seen as corrupt. but the opposition is possibly less not popular, less popular than even the ruling government. But there's a lot of public frustration. Okay. Allow me to finish. So this could crystallize opposition to the government, number one.
Right.
And we saw it already today. For the first time that I have been in the House, 30 years, I saw the opposition and the independent senators join common
Unified bloc.
Unified bloc, except for the shameful performance of Louis Wade. And I will get to that, because I thought that the Christians would go in the church and overturn all the tables to chase the thieves out of the temple. But allow me, what happened in this Senate chamber today? They cut the feed. That is not acceptable. No, the apologists for the president of the Senate, Caroline Trent Sandiford, who I have already declared on various platforms, her approach is inconsistent with how a democracy works. She's unsuited for the post. Mr. Faber was making a presentation against the rules, accepted. He was out of line. She suspended the sitting. And they cut the feed for everybody who was watching. Cut the feed. This is the line made famous by Mike Redon when the PUP won. This is the line made famous by Mike Perifeet when he said, clear the chamber, and I was in that house in 2016 and we had to fight. Let me explain to you what has evolved since 2016. Let me explain.
Can we bring it back though to the question?
Hold on, I have to finish with the Senate. Please forgive me. Indulge me. This is an affront to free speech. It completely undermines the agreement we made with Madam Speaker that we will withdraw our cameras from the House because it creates a lot of clutter. And we will allow the feed, the government-sponsored feed. We were fools to allow them to control this feed because they control it in the interest of the state, whoever the ruling party is. So suppose Patrick Faber to be thrown out. You wouldn't have seen it.
Absolutely.
Apart from the cell phone cameras. Suppose we hadn't fought to stay in the House and they hadn't captured Julius Espat being dragged out. History would have lost that. So that is a shame. It's a distraction, but I'm showing you how the sides are joining. The union and the opposition is joining. The social partners put out a statement. So this is leading, it has a unifying effect. And that is dangerous for the government, but I honestly don't think the Prime Minister cares. However, I'm telling you, there are ministers in his own government who oppose it, who oppose this, and it will create ruction. I should say disturbance, because the PUP is fairly monolithic. It will create a disturbance within his own party that he will have problems with down the road, because when they say, what was the breaking moment? What was the moment of a loss of confidence? It will be SpeedNet. It will be the acquisition of SpeedNet. For some in the PUP, it's unbelievable that they're going ahead with it. Please.
So SpeedNet is the acquisition. That's a consequential moment for Belize. But to come back to the fact of where you say that it is illegal, what legal or regulatory hurdles still remain? And are we really looking at a legal battle? Like, how real is that?
Well, I'm saying that the legal battle, to me, is in the ether, or it's in the future. What is happening what the immediate consequence now is a crystallization of the opposing forces to the government. Also, it hardens resentment within the government. I believe there are ministers who have spoken against this creation of a national monopoly. I believe Francis Fonseca has spoken against it. I believe Henry Charles Usher has spoken against it. I believe Karim Musa they have all spoken against it.
Right.
It puts them in a position now. What side are you on? What side are you on? And it has a consequential effect. It may have a consequential effect even on the upcoming PUP Municipal Convention. So I'm saying that indeed there may be a legal challenge, but that will take months to resolve.
But isn't that important if you say it's in conflict of the Chagaramos?
Yes.
The law of Chagaramos.
Right. It's in conflict of the treaty. It's in blatant conflict of our domestic law. But that I'm saying they don't care because they run things don't run them. I'm trying to explain how they approach it. Obviously, if you will do this and not even mention the PUC, that it's pending approval of the PUC. No, it's not. So PUC sent out a statement saying, well, it still requires our approval. They don't care. We just did it. How's that? How's that for y'all? How's that? How you like them apples? That's what they're saying. They don't care.
The protest that we had outside, the protests, the senators, the protests outside of BTL, is that likely to change anything, or it's just a done deal?
No, I'm saying that I can't imagine they're going ahead with this. The political peril is so great. I will tell you, there are people in the UDP who love to fight amongst each other, who are questioning what Tracy made the door there because they say you're going too soft. Yeah. You should have stepped to that breaking windows. You should have stepped to that with all militant force. And they don't believe they stepped to it like the UDP should. Now, you know, those are tough decisions to make. But there are people in the UDP, I can tell you, who are saying this morning, we need to go get 20 men with pint bottle and start stoning out to stop it. So I'm just saying there's a militance in the UDP that some people feel Tracy is not meeting, Tracy Panton, their party leader.
But will it make a change, Jules? That's a question I'm trying to
I
get
think.
at. Is it going to effectively change the nature of the deal? Because it's
will it stop the deal from happening?
That's what I'm asking.
I think although the board has taken a decision, I think it's far away from being consummated.
Okay.
Because the path ahead is full of political peril for the Prime Minister. No, I agree. He can hardly care. I really do think he hardly cares. But there are those in the PUP who do care greatly and whose family does not stand to make $18 million.
What is the one question that we, as the public, should continue demanding an answer to?
I think that on whose authority are you going to do this? Where is the regulator? The regulator is there to protect the public.
Right.
So where is the regulator? Where is the PUC? Although it's all appointed by the Prime Minister, you all won't even pay that. I mean, I wrote they had time to submit your objections. I wrote a 3-page letter of objection because I feel a telecommunications monopoly threatens freedom of the press. I really think it does. Indira, when you take off somebody and they say pull the plug on Channel 7 and you don't have no alternative, what are you going to do? Who are you talking to? Pull the internet. Who are you going to be talking to? Off your cell phone? I've been there.
So we're operating rogue right now.
No, it is still a far ways ahead from being consummated. But this is a major hurdle. And I won't take my eye off the chairman of the board of BTL. He delivered, because he delivered because, he was on a heavy pressure earlier this year. Some people said he wouldn't last. I know I said that. But he delivered the deal. And we want to stress, these are the board members that voted for it. We want to go through it. The ones who voted against, Mr. Alan Pollard, voted against. Anissa Perdomo, her picture isn't there. She voted against. All the others, except for the corporate secretary, who doesn't have a vote, voted in favor. That is Chairman Lizarraga, Deputy Chairman Jorge Melina Espat, Jose Urbina, member, Eric Yuse, member for the small shareholder. Anissa voted against, Anissa Perdomo voted against. Melissa, corporate secretary, doesn't vote. Moises Cal, a good PUP, voted in favor. The Prime Minister CEO, Narda Garcia, of course, voted in favor. Marilyn Young, a faithful PUP, of course, yes. And Arturo Lizarraga, representing the Social Security Board, voted in favor. Remember, he took the place of Chandra Nisbet Cancino, right?
Okay.
Or Imogen Habet, I believe, and Anissa took the place
What
of Chandra.
happens next?
What happens next? I think I really think instinctually I feel that the government will have to intervene, or PUC will have to intervene and start to pat the brakes on this. Perhaps I'm being naive, but I can't imagine they go ahead and move to consummation. But Michael Ashcroft with the deal with, he does not engage in acts of symbolism. He wants the real thing, even if it's raw. I am telling you, they made this decision without having the proper information. They made this decision without an independent assessment. I stressed you, and Mr. Ashcroft told them, at that meeting in April. There will be no independent assessment. See the cash flow here? This, I want to stress, is a deal where the seller is setting the terms. When there is a deal in front of you, you are the buyer. You decide if you want to buy. This is the seller dictating the terms. This is the seller dictating the sale. This is the seller's sale. This is not the buyer's sale. When you buy, it's because you have an interest in buying. Nope, it's a seller who has an interest in selling, and you go and buy it.
Did you have anything else to add, Jules?
We have to wait and see what the days ahead have. But I just wanted to clarify a few points. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, the acquisition may be approved, but the debate is clearly far from over.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so thank you, Jules. We'll be following up with the development as it heads into the next days and weeks for sure. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
I'm a licensed electrician for 15 years. Safety is always an electrician number one priority. I shop at Benny's. Benny's give me high quality, durable material. Cheaper doesn't mean safety. Cheaper means danger. When I think about safety, I think about Benny's. Remember, at Benny's, quality is saving.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings. See you at the store.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Before our grid reached across Belize, it was built by generations of Belizeans committed to connecting communities and powering progress. Through the hands, the dedication, and the vision of our people, the grid grew with Belize. A nation built through strength and resilience, and a network built pole by pole. Today, that responsibility continues, strengthened by every hand that follows. Each generation building on the last and carrying forward a shared responsibility, serving communities, powering schools, hospitals, businesses, and homes, supporting a nation that continues to grow. Belize Electricity Limited, built to serve, serving Belize.
Rev up your engines at Puma Energy and get ready for an exciting chance to fuel, fill, and win. For every $30 purchase on fuel, a liter of lubricant, or $10 at Super 7, get a ticket to win one of 20 fuel prizes of $1,000. And here's the thrill. Fill up with premium Clean Tech Pro and double your chances of winning. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Head to Puma Energy and Super 7 today for your chance to fuel, fill, and win.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time. They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
If you're tired of the baking in your house with the only cook wawa fan and finally realize that the time to get yourself a good, durable, reliable fan, contact Myers Panel website or social media. Myers going to hook you up with one of their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan where might could even change your life as it keep you cool in this hot Belizean weather. Yes man, because their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers not just could blow your lip back way, they might could blow away your mind if you say blow away the toxic konomono out of your life and the bad vibes out of your house. Order your 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers website or on their social media, and Myers going to ship out your fan anywhere countrywide ASAP. Not believe me? Visit myerselectronics.bz right now to order your fan today.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tragedy unfolded at sea this week after 2 Sandhill fishermen were reported missing, leading to an intensive 36-hour multi-agency search operation. While one of the men, Albert Vicario, was successfully rescued yesterday, the body of his fishing partner, Samuel Chi, was recovered less than 24 hours later in an advanced state of decomposition. But what happened? So far, no one can say. Jo Marie Lanza brings us the details.
They had hoped to find both fishermen alive, but in the past 36 hours, the search and rescue being led by the Coast Guard came to an end this morning after they located the body of Samuel Chi 4 miles from where Albert Vaccaro had been found still swimming in the water 20 hours earlier.
A search concluded this morning, sometime around 9 a.m. this morning. The body of Mr. Samuel Chi was located somewhere around 4 miles southwest from the location where Mr. Vaccaro was located yesterday. So therefore, his body was found unconscious, not responsive, and then he was transported to Belize Coast Guard headquarters, where he was handed over to the scenes of crime this morning.
But while they have recovered his body, there is still no vessel and no answers as to what befell them at sea.
So far, we cannot ascertain the full details of what transpired at sea. Priority was given to locate the individuals, so therefore that was successful. Unfortunately, Mr. Chi was found not alive. However, the investigation will continue. This will now be led by the police department. What will be the outcome or what happened at sea will be determined through that investigation, and that is ongoing as we speak.
How long were they out at sea?
The search and rescue, the surface search lasted for about 36 hours. So that was done throughout both day and night. So that extensive surface search was conducted for approximately 36 hours through a joint operation with maximum effort from different agencies and of course the members of the families and the relatives.
And while the search and rescue operation ended, the Coast Guard has so far been unable to locate the boat that the men went fishing in. Lieutenant Chuck says until the vessel is found, only then they will be able to establish what happened on the water.
So far, the Coast Guard cannot locate the vessel. That is still missing. The Coast Guard will continue to try to identify or locate where the vessel is so that it can assist and contribute to the ongoing investigation.
So today they cannot say if whether mechanical failure or criminal attack caused these experienced seamen to be set adrift in open waters.
Police will continue their investigation to determine either it's a criminal or it's a natural cause or just an accident. So therefore they will determine that. So far the search and rescue is our priority to locate these people, and that case has been closed. Now this investigation will continue on the police side.
Our team still out there looking for the vessel?
All vessels returned to base this morning. We will regroup and replan, and therefore will redeploy to try to identify or locate the missing vessel.
We also spoke with the father of the deceased, who shared with us that his son was an experienced fisher, and they are still left in the dark as to what had happened when they failed to return to the mainland on Sunday.
Thank God that we glad that we found this morning around 9 o'clock, about 9 miles out from here, and everything was so sad and everything, but thank God we find the body, right? So we have already reported to the, to the police and everybody, and the Coast Guard and everybody out there. I want to thank all of them for helping search, and all the people that come up with them boat and help us. I thank them for everything, you know? And I appreciate it, and God bless all of them, you know?
Your son went out to fish, right?
Yeah, he went out to fish, yeah.
Is he an experienced fisher?
Yep. He dive and he fishing as well, no? Mm-hmm.
What would you want people to remember about your son?
He was a loving guy. He was a very nice person. He just loved fishing. You know, got no problem with nobody or whatever. So he just loved the sports, right? So he got out with a friend, gone fishing, and what happened, we don't know.
While the recovery of Samuel Chi brings a heartbreaking form of closure to his family, the haunting questions surrounding his final hours remain. Joan Marie Lanza, 7 News.
Chi survived by a wife and 2 sons. Police have arrested and charged a Belize City man in connection with the June murder of Kiefer Alexander McKenzie. Today, police formally arrested and charged 24-year-old Lennox Linford Gentle, a Belizean laborer of a Belize City address, for the crime of murder in relation to McKenzie's death. McKenzie was fatally shot on June 13, 2026 on Albert Street as he drove down Albert Street at the height of the Saturday morning rush with young children in the car. 2 police officers have been found guilty of manslaughter for administering the injuries that caused the death of a man in custody. In 2023, a video emerged capturing 25-year-old Andrew McDougall being aggressively detained by police in front of a restaurant in Santa Cruz Village. But then, 17 days later, Dougal died from internal bleeding due to injuries he sustained while being detained by police. McDougall suffered from hemophilia, a type of genetic bleeding disorder that prevented him from healing. The 2 arresting officers, John Lucas and Jaleel Lewis, were later charged for manslaughter, and today both cops were found guilty by Justice Antoinette Moore. The officers were represented in court by attorneys Audrey Matura and Earl Hamilton, and their sentencing has been set for August 11th. Last night, a brazen drive-by shooting on Collins Boulevard in San Ignacio left 30-year-old Carlton McCoy and an innocent 5-year-old boy wounded. According to police, shortly before 7:40 p.m., officers responded to reports of gunfire and found McCoy suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Investigators say McCoy had driven onto Collins Boulevard when occupants of a parked vehicle allegedly opened fire on his vehicle, firing several rounds. During the attack, a 5-year-old boy who was walking home with his mother along the Bullet Tree Road was struck by a bullet despite having no apparent connection to the intended target. Both victims were transported for medical treatment. The child was later transferred to the KHMH, while McCoy remains hospitalized. Police have confirmed that both are in stable condition. This is one more shooting in a troubling spate of violence in the Kai district, which has seen 5 shootings and 1 violent home invasion recorded within the past month. Despite multiple police investigations, no major breakthroughs have been announced. Following the statement by the independent senators, the social partner sectors they represent issued their own. This includes the BCCI, the NTUCB, the Council of Churches, and the Belize Network of NGOs. They expressed strong disapproval and alarm following the decision by the BTL Board of Directors to acquire SpeedNet. The release says, quote, since January 2026, the social partners have repeatedly warned against hasty consolidation in Belize's telecommunications sector. The social partners maintain that proceeding with a transaction of this magnitude without resolving these core issues demonstrates a complete disregard for the public interest and the rule of law. Today's approval by the BTL board ignores significant unaddressed legal and regulatory concerns, end quote. They specifically point to the section of the Telecommunications Act that forbids agreements that fundamentally lessen competition. They are now calling on the PUC to fulfill its statutory mandate and determine whether the proposed transaction complies with the Telecoms Act before it proceeds. We did reach out to the PUC, which said, quote, the PUC has not yet made a decision regarding the proposed acquisition. The matter remains under the Commission's consideration, and the final decision rests with the Commission. Once a decision has been made, it will be communicated through the appropriate channels. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you how Alex Norales is out of jail tonight. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Belize is calling for change, and the future is in her hands. Meet our 4 incredible delegates competing for the crown of Miss Earth Belize 2026. Join us for the national pageant on August 8, 2026 at the Belize City Civic Center. Tickets, general admission $10, VIP $100, and ultra VIP tables $1,000. Seating for 5, wine and charcuterie included.
Tickets will be available for purchase at all Pink Boutique locations, Onyx Beauty Lounge, and Medisco.
Be a part of the movement. Beauty for a cause. Miss Earth Belize 2026.
If you're tired of baking your house with daily cook wawa fan and finally realize that the time to get yourself a good, durable, reliable fan, contact Myers Panel website or social media. Myers going to hook you up with one of their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan where might could even change your life as they keep you cool in this hot Belizean weather. Yes man, because their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers not just could blow your lip back way, they might could blow away your mind if you say blow away the toxic konomono out of your life and the bad vibes out of your house. Order your 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers website or on their social media, and Myers going to ship out your fan anywhere countrywide ASAP. Not believe me? Visit myerselectronics.bz right now to order your fan today.
These charter mints aren't from
We're
an
navigating
airplane.
along the coastline.
This morning, the
Northern
2023 in the
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shireen Khalsil,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Linda Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Nokshe Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism, so we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have like the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Are you ready now? Hey yo, Belize, the encore is overdue. So I, Double M Masha Montano, with my full band and dancers, will be returning to the Jewel on September 20th for the Belize Soca and Culture Festival. That's why they call this show the greatest. After 10 years, Belize, I'm back. So get your tickets now. Hey, ha!
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7. This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Life sounds better with JBL. Whether you're relaxing, working out, or getting the party started, there is a JBL speaker or headphone made just for you. Enjoy powerful JBL pure bass sound with the new JBL Tune 530BT and Tune 730BT wireless headphones, delivering all-day comfort and long-lasting battery life. Take your music anywhere with the compact, mighty JBL Go 5, built to keep the beats going. Ready to party? Turn every gathering into an unforgettable experience with the JBL Party Box on the go Essentials 2, or go even bigger with the all-new JBL Party Box 330, packed with booming sound, dynamic light show, and endless entertainment. Get yours today at Cellular World and get a 1-year warranty from the authorized JBL distributor.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
Belize, You're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Residents in the Belize River Valley are raising alarms after discovering scores of dead fish floating along the Belize River, a critical waterway that serves as a primary source of food, livelihood, and culture for the River Valley communities. To find out what's causing the die-off and how villagers feel about it, Jaleesa Roberts traveled to the area. Here's her report.
A river fish gasping for air. Most of us have never seen this, but it's what the River Valley residents woke up to today. It's a fish kill along the Belize River, stretching from at least Scotland Half Moon to St. Paul's Bank. Residents were alarmed when they woke up to see dead fish, river lobsters, river crabs, and other marine life on the banks and surface of the river. The water was darker than usual, and the fish struggling to respire. Many of them lay dead on the banks of the river. This continued for miles along the Belize River, and residents are asking why.
I'm very, very concerned because I grew up in this area, and my father, my family was farmer. We depend on the natural resources, and I first saw it this morning. Someone sent it to me, and I'm very concerned. And this is the first time we're seeing something like this in the Belize River. If it happened before, it never happened to the extent of what's taking place now.
Residents are being advised not to consume the fish or use the water from the river right now, because the source of the fish kill has not yet been identified.
It's very, as I said, it's very, very concerning because if you go along the River Valley area, if you go to Maypen, if you go to Grace Bank, if you go to Flowers Bank, all these villages, Lemonal is not the Belize River, but it's connected. It's connected somehow. Crooked Tree is connected to the Belize River as well. The Black Creek area passes through the Biscayne area where I live. So most people, either directly or indirectly, benefit from the river. So it's not just a river; it's more than a river.
Now they are making a call for action as the river is their livelihood.
I'm hoping that a proper investigation can be done, and it reminds me of the river. It's very similar, and of course, I'm not passing any judgment. I'm not the technical person here, but I mean the color of the water. It's raised some question, and I think that the people want answers.
So for now, they are confused about how they should proceed. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
We reached out to the Department of Environment for comment, but up to news time had gotten no response. Tonight, Emil Brian Zabany is recovering after he was one of the victims in a RTA yesterday evening near 4 p.m. on the Philip Golson Highway. Zabany was hospitalized but did not receive any life-threatening injuries. The accident happened near the southern approach to the Hollover Bridge at 5 p.m. when the Prada he was driving ran into a RAV4 and flipped 3 times. When it came to a stop, both he and a passenger were outside the Prado when emergency personnel arrived. Tonight, Alex Norales, teacher at San Pedro High School, is out on parole despite having been denied bail pending appeal only days ago. Norales was convicted on January on 2 counts of sexual assault involving 3 minor high school students in San Pedro town. He was sentenced to 2 concurrent 18-month terms, but tonight, after 7 months, he's out on parole. According to his attorney, Dickie Bradley, Norales was released on the Belize's parole provisions. Bradley stated that parole legislation provides that a prisoner who has served over half of his sentence is eligible for release. However, the reported release has prompted significant legal questions. Norales' appeal hearing is scheduled for September. 2 weeks ago, we brought you the story of Buddy the dog, who was rehomed to a loving family in the Cayo district after being repeatedly beaten and abused by his former owner in Cotton Tree. Since the video emerged on social media, police launched an investigation to locate the man seen physically harming Buddy in the video. Today, we learned that they have identified Buddy's abuser. However, they have not been able to locate him because he has vacated his home in Cotton Tree. Police had gotten a statement from the accused stepdaughter, who told police she had gone to visit her mother in Cotton Tree when her stepfather arrived home under the influence of alcohol and began hitting the dog with a gallon containing gasoline. which eventually broke and spilled all over the animal. He then picked up a stick and continued to hit the dog. The mother of the complainant then intervened and took the stick away from Buddy's abuser. Police have made multiple efforts to locate him and have resulted to logging his name in a court book, which will be used upon his detention so that the case will not be statute bar. Early in the news, we showed you the UDP and most of the independent senators walking out of today's meeting. But before that, in the morning, an important bill was brought back to the Senate. That is the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. Earlier this year, when it was first brought down, the debate was stopped abruptly, following permission from the president so that the concerns could be properly ventilated and addressed. We also told you that those meetings with public officers from the Ministry of Labor weren't so fruitful. Today in the Senate, UDP Senator Patrick Faber described them as a waste of time. However, some of the kinks were sorted, including the issue that Faber had brought up last time, the fact that the OSH bill excluded domestic workers. Here is a snippet of today's debate.
Red and Blue and Independent felt that the sessions initially held with the experts were a waste of our time and effort. Those public servants who came in that first session, Madam President, were inadequate. In fact, they admitted that to us when they came here. We sat here 3 hours for them to tell us all that you have recommended. We can't tell you anything, and we just want to sit down here and listen. We can't give you any kind of expert testimony because the minister is out of the country. The people who will, imagine the ministry officials who will run with the OSH bill and put the law into effect at all its stages, the inspectorate and everything, Madam President. Those people sat before us and told us that, hey, we can't answer. No, we don't know. We have no authority to answer you.
What was the complete omission of domestic workers has been rectified in Section 3 of on Clause 3 of the bill. I don't particularly like this formulation, but I trust that it is a better formulation than what we had before. And Clause 3, too, because I must make specific reference to the bill when I'm debating, says that the act shall apply to domestic workers, but subject to such limitations, safeguards, and procedures as may be prescribed, having regard to the constitutional privacy rights within private residence. I think, Madam President, when we are in the realm of competing rights, it's very important to appreciate that we didn't simply rule out domestic workers as having the benefit of the OSH. But I hope that the domestic employers, those who are privileged enough to have domestic workers in their employ, I understand some people in the front bench may have entire staff working in their households. Right, Senator Montejo? But it's important that we don't rule out those categories of people from the protection of the OSH while still ensuring that the sweeping powers that we give to an inspectorate or to an inspector doesn't infringe on the privacy rights of homeowners.
The bill was passed by the Senate. He's only 17 years old, and Ruben Trejos Jr. is probably one of the youngest pilots in Belize. Today, he achieved a major milestone in his studies by flying from El Salvador to Belize, landing in San Pedro. Trejos, who is a student at Aerosal School of Aviation in El Salvador, made the journey in the company of his flight instructor. He stopped in San Pedro Sula and continued on to Belize shortly after. Dion Vanson from the San Pedro Sun caught up with the teen shortly after he landed and spoke with him about his first long haul across the sky.
So tell me, how was the experience flying in a cross-country hello to Belize?
It was absolutely beautiful. The views were amazing. Everything was amazing. Flying next to my great instructor, he's really cool. You get to learn a lot. You get to see a lot of the landscape.
Landscape.
Beautiful.
Yes, was it Was it challenging for you, or you feel confident?
A bit tired. Sometimes it can get a bit stressful, you know, when you're coming down, landing, or when you're taking off. Talking. That's when the load works the hardest. You know, you get distracted. There's a bunch of things you have to pay attention. But it's really fun. You get used to it, and.
Was this always your dream to be a pilot?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Since I was a kid, I was right there, and then I would just watch the planes, and I'd be like, I want to fly a plane all the time.
And that's finally tonight. In May of this year, Trinidadian national Rubindra Dale Rampersad had racked up a bill of $11,470.24 for a month's stay at Golden Bay Hotel. Police were alerted and Rampersad was intercepted at the airport and later charged for making off without payment. The 47-year-old procurement officer has been on remand since then, unable to meet the conditions of his bail. But his attorney, Daryl Bradley, is working on a mediation on his behalf with the hotel. Rampersad has pleaded not guilty to the charge, but because of his nationality and having no ties to Belize, he was viewed as a flight risk and his bail was denied. His mediation has been set for Thursday, August 13th, and this will determine whether the criminal charge will be dismissed. And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching. With you on news, I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great evening and join me back here tomorrow at 6.